Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students of first year E. I am your teacher Saima Tunoli with the 16th lecture for Civics, and today we will be doing chapter number 3. In that we have the topic today, that is State and Society, on page number 55. Previously we have studied the relation between state and government. Today we will be studying the relationship and working of state and society. According to Professor H. E. Lecture, he defines state as a territorial society divided into government and subjects, and which have an we can say allotted area which is permanent physical area, a supremacy over all other institutions. That is a state is. As we have even studied in the previous lectures, that the four elements of the state are the population, territory, government and sovereignty. On the other hand, a society has been defined as people in general, considered as a single community, especially with regard to the customs, laws and institutions that enable them to live together. So as we know, man is a social animal and he cannot live alone. When he lives in a community of his fellow human beings, he interacts with them culturally, economically and politically. Society encompasses all these varied interactions. Society is a term which stands for the entire network of social relationship between individuals or between groups and individuals. So we can say that state and society have many things in common, but they are not the same. There is a difference between them, and the differentiation between the two can be made on the different things. Like we have the territory. Like state is an association with a well defined territory and should possess the title of its permanent ownership. आपकी जो एक permanent physical area है, इलाका है, that makes your state or the we can say the territory. Society has no territorial reference. It is connected with the man alone. So in case of society, there is no contact with the physical or the territorial reference. There is no need of this earth or the physical environment. Society as is as compared to state is imperceptible. That is, it is abstract concept, while state on the other hand is concrete. So we can say that if we talk about the society, it is only abstract, that like the way we have the nation which we have in our mind, and it is imperceptible. Imperceptible means not plain or distinct to the mind. That is something that is vague and that is there, आपकी imagination में, आपकी thinking में है. तो सोसाइटी जो है उसका ताल्लुक़ सिर्फ इंसान से है, उसका कोई ताल्लुक़ नहीं है ज़मीन से या इलाके से. Again we have the government. That is, government is an essential attribute of the state, but for society it is not. When we talk about government, it is a, we can say a law enforcing agency of the state, but for society it is not essential. Lasky has defined state as a society divided into government and subjects. In society there is no government and there are no subjects, no rulers and no ruled. So we can have this definition of society, like we have the Red Crescent Society, we have the Boy Scout, Girls Guide Society. These are the different societies in which basically the people matter, not the area or the location or any other thing. It is basically the people who make a contribution voluntarily. वो इकट्ठे होते हैं रज़ाकाराना तौर पे और वो बहुत सारे मकासद के लिए कुछ ना कुछ कर रहे हैं. That makes your society. Again we have the next point, that is sovereignty. Sovereignty is the most essential and distinctive feature. The whole, or we can just say the sole characteristic that distinguishes state from other association is sovereignty. आपकी जो sovereignty है, that is the most important attribute or characteristic of the state. और ये आपको स्टेट को सबसे अलहदा कर देती है. नो अदर ह्यूमन एसोसिएशन इंक्लूडिंग सोसाइटी कैन क्लेम टू हैव सॉवरन पावर. Thus, we can say that society has its own rules and own norms and procedure, whereas your sovereignty makes the laws and it basically is implemented by the state. So there is a lot of difference between sovereignty of the state and the norms and behavior of the society. At the same time, the rules and regulation that are made by the state and that are being laid by the sovereignty are enforceable. They are very much to be followed. They are strictly to be followed, they are compulsory. But on the other hand, the society's behavior or its norms and values, they are up to you and they are on the choice. वो ऐसे नहीं है कि वो आप अगर फॉलो नहीं करेंगे सोसाइटी के नॉर्म्स एंड वैल्यूज़ तो आपको कोई पनिशमेंट मिलेगी. दे आर अदर थिंग्स विच कैन बी पनिश्ड फॉर. हमारे यहाँ सोसाइटी में बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जिनको हम बहुत ओवरलुक कर जाते हैं, नज़रअंदाज कर जाते हैं. फॉर दैट देर इज़ नो पनिशमेंट. लाइक वी आर लिविंग इन अ community and we are moving around and not greeting the elders or paying respect to them, but for that there is no punishment or no questioning. They are the things which depends upon our own moral codes. So society does not impose things on people. Elasticity and rigidity. Now what is that? Which E.B. Barker explains, has pointed out an important differentiation or difference between society and state. He says that society is voluntary cooperation. रज़ाकाराना तौर पे जब आप इकट्ठे होते हैं किसी पर्पस के लिए, that makes a society. And they are flexible things which he observes that they are voluntary and they are for cooperation or for goodwill, and at the same time its method is elasticity. Whatever the idea or movement we are making in a society that is voluntary, हम अपनी मर्ज़ी से बहुत सारे फैसले करते हैं और किसी पर्पस के लिए इकट्ठे होते हैं, and there is relaxation and elasticity, and in that there is no hard and fast rules. But in a state is mechanical action. That is, whatever is there we are to follow that, and that whatever instructions that are given by the state, its energy is force and its method is rigidity. That is, we are bound to follow the instructions of the state. हम हुकूमत के, अपनी गवर्नमेंट के कवानीन को नज़रअंदाज नहीं कर सकते. Then we have the institute of society has a precedence over state. आपकी जो precedence means a priority or importance. That is, what is the reason कि सोसाइटी की जो इंस्टीट्यूट है इसको एक बर्तरी हासिल है स्टेट पे. दैट इज़, सोसाइटी इज़ एज ओल्ड एज मैन. जब से इंसान वजूद में आया, जब से इंसान दुनिया में आया, सोसाइटी बनी और सोसाइटी इंसान ही के साथ है. हिस्टोरिकली सोसाइटी अपीयर्ड मच बिफोर द स्टेट डिड. स्टेट्स बाद में बनी. जैसे ही लोग इकट्ठे हुए, उनकी एसोसिएशन हुई, उनकी असेंबलेज हुई, उनकी गैदरिंग हुई, आपकी सोसाइटी इमर्ज कर गई. we cannot point out a period in human history which we could say was pre-social prior to society, but there was definitely a period in early human history when man lived without state. pre-social टाइम नहीं हो सकता कभी भी, क्योंकि जैसे ही इंसान दुनिया में आया, ही नीड कंपनी, ही नीडेड एसोसिएशन. तो दैट इज़ समथिंग जो पहले नहीं हो सकती. सोसाइटी का वजूद में आना हर हाल में ज़रूरी था. बट प्री पॉलिटिकल हो सकती है कि आपकी जो स्टेट है, इट वॉज एस्टेब्लिश्ड लेटर ऑन. द नीड फॉर एन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, फॉर अ लॉ इन्फोर्सिंग एजेंसी, फॉर अ क्या कहना चाहिए, अथॉरिटेरियन रूल, इट वॉज फेल्ट लेटर ऑन. उसकी ज़रूरत बाद में हुई, मगर सोसाइटी पहले ही इमर्ज हुई. Next topic is state and nation. Now we know that state and nation are the two terms most commonly used by the students of social sciences. But unfortunately, the clearlessness or with these two terms have been applied, which is not that clearly done. According to Lord Bryce, he defined nationality in these words: a nationality is a population held together by certain ties, as for example, language and literature, ideas, customs, and traditions, in such a way as to feel itself a coherent unit distinct from other populations similarly held together by like ties of their own. So nationality is when a group of people living together sharing common ideas or norms and values, they are marked off from the rest of the society or the world, that makes them a nation. वो उसी वक्त एक कौम बनते हैं जब उनको दूसरी लोगों से एक ख़ास तौर पे अलहदा किया जाता है और उनकी अपनी एक अलहदा पहचान और आइडेंटिटी आती है. दैट इज़ योर nation. Natio is a word which means born, so that is something different from this state. Uh, if we differentiate between these two, that is, there is a clear distinction that nation is abstract. Nation is abstract concept, that is, we have an imperceptible feeling or aspiration in the hearts of a group of people, but state on the contrary is relatively concrete in character. It can be recognized by virtue of its well defined territory, its government and other institutions. आपकी जो state है, that is basically having four elements, and which makes them very much we can say concrete and very much visible to the people. But on the other hand, nation is something abstract, which is a thinking, which is an ideology, which is we can say idea about certain things which we share, that makes us a nation. That is basically our faith. Then we have state needs four legs to stand upon. And what are these four legs? That is the population, territory, government and sovereignty. Nation, no doubt, is a human institution. It definitely aspires to achieve the status of a state. But in the intermediate stage, when a group of people is struggling to establish its sovereign authority in a definite territory, it can be termed a nation but not a state. Territory, government, and sovereignty are not a nation's prerequisites. Prerequisites are the requirements. So when we talk about a state, we have these four elements which are tangible, which are concrete, which are physical, which we can see. But when we talk about the nation, we have this abstract idea which we have in our mind as a mind and heart, as a faith or a belief, or we can say as an ideology, and for which we don't need to have territory, government and sovereignty. Three physical जो features elements of the state आते हैं, territory, government and sovereignty, that is not the requirement for this nation, but the one thing, that is the population, that is the most important thing that should be there for a nation, that they will be having an assemblage and a group of people having this common ideas, ideology, sharing common mentality, religion, faith, customs, belief and everything. In the end, we have one nation and one state. Now what is this slogan? It is something which gained popularity after the World War I. Many nation states were emerged or established, but it does not, however, mean that the boundaries of each state now necessarily coincide with that of a nation. In the modern world, we find mononational states like the Great Britain and Germany as well, and multinational states like Switzerland, Canada, and India, in which we have ethnicity and a lot of different nations, and at the same time, but they are living together. Examples of multinational multi-state nations are also not lacking. Kashmiris are one nation but divided into two states, that is Pakistan and India. Two or more groups of people having different political aspiration by a mere accident that they were forced to live under a single sovereign authority do not make them a nation. Like we have example of many Indian Muslim which lived with the Hindus under British rule for almost 90 long years, yet they could not develop a sense of national cohesion, that is national bonding with the Indians. If the boundaries of a nation coincide with the boundaries of a state, then it is called a nation state. Modern social scientists prefer national states to multinational states because they think national states are more stable and stronger and less prone to internal agitation and turmoil. Turmoil होता है, uproar और agitation is again confusion. Both the things, both the words means the same. So we can say that if we have one national state, that makes it more stable, that if we have multinational states, then there will be people living together but they will not be considering themselves as one nation, because they will be sharing different and different ideologies and different mentalities and faith and everything. So one nation one state slogan was the need of the day, especially after the World War One. So this is all for today. With this we come to an end of your topic, that is state and society and state and nation. I hope everything is clear to you. If something is not clear, you can ask me, and do learn these differences through these slides. I think you will be able to learn more properly if you learn these headings and these subheadings. Things will be more easier for you. uh, uh, Coming to the thought of the day, that is as a nation, if we talk about nation and national strength or national solidarity, that is united we stand, divided we fall. Thank you and have a nice day.